What up, what up, what up? Thank you for tuning in to the Swish Masters Podcast, and thank you to our sponsor, SS96. Visit ss96.net and use the promo code Swish Masters for 15% off. Yeah, that's right. You heard me right. 15% off on all store items. Hats, hoodies, t-shirts, whatever you need, SS96 has it. Also, don't forget to go and check out that music from Straight Stoner, produced by yours truly. You know what it is, Gut Gang, mobbing, sleepwalking. We out here. Thank you.
What's up? Welcome back to a very, very good episode of the Swish Masters Podcast. I'm your co-host, QtheGuru. Zay, what's up?
That's what's up. All I can do is shake my head right now, bro.
Yo.
What up? What up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in.
There was so much going on yesterday and today. I've been holding everything I've been wanting to say. I'm very interested to hear what you got to say. But before we even get into it, let's just have a rundown of exactly what's going on, just in case you haven't heard the news. We won't have a rundown.
Lord have mercy.
Y'all just listen to this real quick.
Changed by the bosses to be here in Brooklyn for the busy news day. Jock Bond will be the interim head coach, replacing Steve Nash. Sean Marks, the general manager of the Nets, vehemently denying multiple media reports that he has already tabbed former Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka as his next head coach. He says, absolutely not. We have not hired one yet. He says, we would like to get back playing the basketball that we know we can play. We are not proud of where we are. Where are we? Let's quickly just go through a litany that could probably take about 3 hours to go through of what's happened with this organization in now the fourth season since KD and Kyrie joined the Nets. Think about it. Kenny Atkinson fired. The future young core of the Nets shipped out, in addition with future draft picks for James Harden. Then this team sees injuries at different times to Kyrie, KD, Harden. Kyrie has that mysterious leave of absence. Kyrie unvaccinated, unable to play multiple games. Harden then forces the trade out to Philadelphia. The Nets get back some compensation in Ben Simmons, but doesn't play a single game last year. They're swept in the first round by Boston. KD then asks for a trade, realizes he doesn't get it. Then he asks for Steve Nash to be fired. That didn't happen over the summer. It would later. There's the foreshadowing. Kyrie, just a couple of days ago, sends out a cryptic tweet with a video, with a link to a video that has anti-Semitic messaging. Provides no context for it. When questioned about it, refused to answer those questions. Nash then fired. There is a report now, as I mentioned, that Ime Udoka will be the next head coach. The issue with him, he's currently on a 1-year suspension from the Boston Celtics guys for inappropriate behavior within the Celtic organization. Oh, and by the way, Ben Simmons tonight is going to miss his second straight game with a knee injury, and the Nets are off to a 2-5 start. So everything's great here in Brooklyn, even if it's the weather outside's a little cold and rainy, Ernie.
Like I said, nothing going on up there. Jared Greenberg, thank you for the thorough report. We appreciate that. Let's go to Carmack's Call Your Shot. And Steve Nash, 2 full seasons and then 7 games into season number 3, out 94-67. Couple of trips to the playoffs, knocked out in the conference semis, knocked out in the first round. And Jacques Vaughn steps in as the interim.
Well, that was a lot. While that was playing for y'all, we were just talking about some of this stuff in the background. Man, this is just a lot. It's a lot. So obviously we want to start there today. We plan to get into the Southwest Division preview today, but we'll see where this conversation goes, and we'll go from there. But let's just start there. The Nets fired Steve Nash. Y'all saw his record, by the way. It's a positive record. They fired him after a win. They fired this dude after a win. If I'm not mistaken, it was 2 wins. Am I right? I don't know. I mean, it's better to get fired after a win now.
I mean, they lost to Chicago.
I mean, that was Chicago that night, though. Yeah. I'm talking about when you got fired, though. They had just won.
They won the previous game. Man.
It's a lot, bro. You go first, man. I don't know what you thought. What you thinking about this?
Bro, the Brooklyn Bridge is literally burning on fire, burning down.
Oof.
It is just turmoil, chaos, and destruction in Brooklyn right now. It's just anarchy.
Hey,
bro.
Hey, let's approach it this way. Did Steve Nash deserve to be fired? Let's approach it that way.
If you look at his record, 92-62 playoffs, does he deserve it? I'm not gonna sit up and say he deserved to be fired. And me personally, Steve Nash, when I was growing up, Steve Nash was one of my favorite point guards to watch. As a coach, it was questionable from the get-go. And I think we all kind of knew that, all agreed. But I'm not, against anyone getting a shot at an opportunity, even though there were others that considered other more experienced coaches to be more suitable for the job, which I agree with.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
I don't think the word deserving is deserved is right for this situation exactly. But did it need to be done? Did he need to not be the coach of this team? Yes, I agree with that. So I agree with the firing, I guess, but I don't think he deserved it because I don't think he was put into a situation that was really suitable for a head coach first couple seasons of head coaching and having to deal with this organization. I'll just put it that way, because this, as Jared Greenberg said, as the list goes on and on and on and on. It's so much. It's so much going on, and this just happened to be some of the chaotic aftermath of all the other events that is, just falling in line with all the other dramatic downfall in Brooklyn. That's I'm it's the Nets are terrible, man. The Nets organization right now is just terrible. I'm sorry. Everything. Players, coaching, leadership, the fans probably were just like, ah, this is tough. This is tough. Nets are just so disappointing as an organization, as a whole organization. I'm just so disappointed in this team. But the writing was on the wall, honestly, for Steve.
It was. There are some pundits in the media that predicted this a couple weeks ago. For real, they did. Like Stephen A. He predicted this a while back. Kendrick Perkins too. He called this a couple weeks ago too. So, I mean, did he deserve to be? I mean, I guess the wordplay, the word choice, is somewhat difficult to use. I mean, I'm viewing it as is this his fault? Partly it's his fault. Then at the same time, it's not his fault. It's weird. So this is the situation. He was like backed up to be the coach by KD and Kyrie, right? But at the same time, before he started, Kyrie's like, we don't need a coach. We all the coach. I can coach. KD can coach. So right there, it's already undermining your authority where you don't really have a good shot. So it's like, you kind of deserved it. You kind of did based on the actions. But this is my main reaction here, though, to this. You remember over the summer, Kevin Durant was trying to get out of Brooklyn. He gave the Nets an ultimatum. Is me or Steve Nash and Sean Marks? Joe Tsai was like, we're in this thing together. Ultimately, KD came back on track. Right?
Right.
What changed? I mean, yeah, y'all were losing some games. But to be fair, there were a lot of distractions going on. Especially over the course of this past week. By one of your players. Ben Simmons has not been performing up to snuff. And he's been out. Again. Steve Nash did lose the locker room. That's true. And when you lose the locker room, you gotta change the voice somehow. You do. But at the same time, it's like, as a Nets organization, it's like you're still giving in to the players. Kevin Durant called for this a while back. And Joe Tsai and Sean Mark, I mean, y'all stuck together and you stood up to the players like, no, this is going to burn. And me thinking, like, to the side over here, I'm thinking, okay, y'all getting some backbone now. You're going to stand up to the players now and tell them no. But with everything going on this past week, even Kyrie stuff, and now this, it's like, just give it in again. Where's the accountability, man? I do believe Steve Nash is kind of the scapegoat here. He kind of is. He kind of is. I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, he did allow some things to happen. But to be fair, it's gonna be hard for any coach to deal with all that crap. I mean, that was a lot. It's hard for any coach to deal with that.
Man, it absolutely is just difficult to be in that locker room in these multiple situations at this point. And to your point, I agree that it's unfair to blame Steve Nash for some things, but also the Brooklyn Nets don't even know what the word accountability means.
Sure.
And this is my other thing about Steve Nash, like in general, at least head coach Steve Nash. Like I said, inexperienced, first time head coach.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming into a situation, which is honestly coming into it, you have quote unquote a good situation. Right? You have, all right, you got Kyrie Irving. On paper, you got Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and at that time, many other talented players. Oh, you trade for James Harden. Oh, you got the best big three in the league right then, and all of a sudden, injuries happen, antics. It all falls apart. Oh, Harden wants out. Kyrie's sitting out. All the stuff Greenberg just named, right? And it's just a lot. Coming into it, you expect, all right, I'm a first time head coach. I got a great team. I'm gonna be set. But then here comes the other side of it, the mental part of the game of this job of a head coach position is not just, all right, let's run these plays. All right, Kevin, you had these many possessions. Kyrie's your turn. No, you can't just sit on the sideline and be like, all right, you guard this guy. All right, let's run the pick and roll on the right side. There's more to it. You have to gain the respect, the trust, and you have to request greatness and pour greatness into the team. And I don't think that Steve Nash was exactly put into a situation where he could do that to the best visibility with him being who he is. Like I think that Steve is a very chill kind of guy. I until maybe this week, it was the first time like he got, first time he got thrown out of a game. I don't remember him getting that heated during his playing years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he's not the, all right, I'm going to rally the team and, discipline, make sure they're following this. He's more of like, all right, I'm a player, you're a player type of coach. And I don't think he was ready to deal with that type of mental challenging type of environment that he had to deal with. You got big personalities, not along with big names. That's a lot to do. That's a lot for a first-time head coach.
It is.
Especially for a team that's still trying to figure out, honestly, who they are. Because, all right, we got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, but who is this team? What can we do? What have we done? So I think that as a head coach, you have to find the balance between, all right, let me make sure I advocate for my players, but also let me make sure I'm the leader of the ship, and no one's questioning that. And I feel like you said, Kyrie Irving coming out saying we're the coach is like, dang, bro, like you like openly disrespected your coach. I'm Steve Nash. You openly disrespected me in a way, and it's like from there on, it was broken, and this just wasn't to me. If I think Steve Nash can be a great coach because he did a decent job. Like his record, he had great players to work with, and he had a decent record, like a winning record at that. But this year, as we've seen over these past few seasons, nothing has went well. Nothing has went to what they expect the Brooklyn Nets to be. So they had to make a change. And honestly, for me, I expected Steve Nash to be out of Brooklyn. Maybe not in 7 games, but 15, 20. I would have expected this maybe a couple weeks more into the season. But this was just like, dang, all right. And after Josiah made his position clear that, oh, it's us together, Steve Nash, we're going to move forward and we're going to work. Dang, bro, like, all right, you switched up really quick, huh?
Basically.
Yeah, I could see that like 15, 20 games, they're still like trash. Yeah. But dang, 7 games. You didn't even make the 10 double digits. You didn't make the double digit mark of games in the season. It's kind of unfair, but also Steve Nash as a head coach has to grow from this, and he didn't rein the horns in of his team in time. So it's just an unfortunate situation for him. I feel for him, but also I'm like, as a head coach, you have to take on that position and you have to be the leader at the end of the day.
Yeah, you got to. So I'm gonna go off some things that you said real quick. It'll be one thing if the Nets were just hitting on all cylinders offensively, because Steve Nash is an offensive-minded player, right? However, we weren't really seeing any innovations in the offense with Steve Nash. That's issue number one, really. And if there was some inkling of that, I feel like he probably still have his job right now. Probably.
At least a little longer.
Right, maybe. Then 2, before he got this job, I wish that he had some experience on the professional level coaching as an assistant coach or something. But he didn't have that. He was like a deer in headlights. And part of me wonders if one of the reasons they signed off on Steve Nash in the first place is because they knew they wouldn't have to listen to him because he doesn't have the pedigree of an experienced head coach. For example, everybody knows how it is when you have your main teacher in the classroom. The class goes buck wild when there's a substitute teacher with hard no experience. It's her first time in the classroom. Whole classroom about to cut up. Steve Nash is a teacher with no experience on the first day. Deer in headlights, what's up?
Yeah.
I mean, and if you're not, you're gonna cut up. You don't go buck wild. You don't know the rules of the game. You don't know all the nuances of coaching. Exactly. You don't know all the nuances. Because there are certain things that happen as a head coach you just can't let happen. For example, the Kyrie thing, right? Come out and say something publicly. Make your stance against that. The other stuff with Kyrie, unfortunately, a lot of this stuff has to do with Kyrie. Kyrie decided not to play at random times. The organization going back and forth on Kyrie being a part of the team or being away from the team. Part of that is on the organization and the coach as well. Another thing Kyrie was doing, this is reported by Stephen A. I had no clue this happened. Kyrie will hold his own separate practices after the main practice with the coach. Who would let that happen? No. And this is not just one time. This is multiple times. Your authority is challenged. That they're not listening to you in the locker room. So it's like, that's why I said you deserved it, and you kind of didn't. But you know, it is what it is. Like, no one blames a substitute teacher for being the substitute teacher in the classroom. It's like, we all know what's about to happen. But at least you're getting paid. Steve Nash got some money. He's out the situation now. Go ahead and play soccer or something, man, because I know you like soccer too. So I don't know, but just go chill. I wouldn't do nothing basketball related. I wouldn't even watch it. I'm not doing anything basketball related. I'm Steve Nash.
No, he tweeted afterwards, after the aftermath. He was, he still was happy for his time in Brooklyn. He's a very Steve Nash is
he's a nice guy.
Dude, very peaceful, very chill.
He's a nice guy, bro.
And I feel for him because I know him as a person. He's just very much optimist, peaceful, chill. One of the greatest point guards I ever got to watch.
Hell yeah.
But before we move on,
Two-time
I just had
MVP.
2-time MVP. Controversial a little bit, but still, he got it. So,
Yeah.
real quick, the Kyrie practice thing, it's like that just seemed like, all right. The way it's phrased, the way it sounds is that he purposefully held his own practice. Like, I'm the coach, so I'm gonna have a practice. And I get, like, as a team, you can go and work out together, you can go run some extra sets, whatever, like afterwards. But for it to be, all right, I'm gonna hold my own practice. I'm hoping that it's just like, all right, we gonna work on some other stuff together. But if
that's the case, you're reported that way, man. This is after practice is over. Steve Nash on his way out the door. Hey, y'all, hold up. We ain't done yet. I want y'all to run this, and this.
Harry puts on his whistle. And he's on the side.
No. I mean, and before we move on to, let's read what he said. You're right, he did tweet something, Steve Nash. He put a very heartfelt thanks to Joe and Clara Tsai, along with Sean Marks, for giving me the opportunity to coach the Brooklyn Nets. That's a lie. It was an amazing experience with many challenges that I'm incredibly grateful for. I don't know about an amazing experience. All right. It was a pleasure to work with the players, the performance team, and front office every day. I'm especially grateful to my coaching staff and video room, who are a talented group with so much character and professionalism. Lastly, thanks to the Brooklyn and the passionate fans who support this team, family first, and my family has found a home here and loves, he put that in all caps, being a part of this beautiful community. I wish the Nets all the success in the world, and the Nashes will be rooting for our team as they turn this season around. He's such a nice guy.
By the way, it was mutual that they agreed. It wasn't like he was.
Oh, we ain't talk about that part yet. Yeah, good point.
Right.
I mean, and a lot of people joking, like, what does that look like? To mutually agree.
I saw the tweets and they
to mutually agree. You fired. I agree. You know what? I quit. Yo.
You know what? You should have fired me, sir. I did not do a good job. It's like, dang, were you advocating to be?
I guess that's what it means to agree.
Made fun of.
That's gotta be what it means, man.
This is the other thing. Since they're saying that it's mutually agreed that they would part ways.
Yeah.
This had to be on the table. Probably, honestly, the inkling of thought was sprinkled when KD said either it's them or me. So I think it was in their mind like, all right, I gotta consider this for real. Then they made a decision, but they were still like lingering. All right, well, if we don't get this together, we can't get rid of KD. We got him for another few years. He's our guy. So who are they gonna turn to? They're not going. They can't get rid of Kyrie, I guess, but
they could.
They could, and who knows what's about to happen with him. But
I take that back. With everything going on, they couldn't. The only way you can get rid of someone now is if you cut him. I believe Kyrie lost all trade value right now.
It's kind of low right now, but this had to be in talks for a good bit. They probably had a meeting before the season began. They were like, all right, we're gonna give you this, and they were gonna come back and evaluate. And they were like, at this point, let's just blow it up. Let's forget about this thing as you as the head coach.
Right.
And one more thing, also, we talked about Kyrie having a lot of issues here, causing issues, but also Kevin Durant, because he also signed up for it. And he is, to me, the leader of this team.
Is he though?
He's supposed to be. And I don't know. If you're gonna sign off on somebody and you calling the shots, You gotta give him some respect.
I'll go off of that. So
Oh, that's what I was about to say.
They both agreed to him. You think they both would support him?
Right.
So, yeah, you go ahead. What you about to say?
My bad. But then I was like trying to get my thoughts. But then Kevin Durant, his whole fiasco this summer was just wild.
Yep.
But at the end of it, you call for the man to be fired. They say no, we're not gonna fire him. You're like, all right. You and Steve just trying to move forward. You know what I mean? Trying to be good about it. Oh, it's all water on the bridge. Oh, it's family. Families fight. Whatever. That was just. I'm not saying Steve is lying because I'm sure he tried to press through it and be like, all right, it's behind us. It happened. Whatever. But
no,
that caused issues.
That's another challenge.
That was like the first major blow to the 2022-23 season for the Nets. Like, you starting off, my best player doesn't want me here. The best player, my teammate, if I'm Kevin Durant's teammate on the Nets, KD don't like Steve, so why should I? Mm-hmm. And then you got how does that reflect the locker room? So now it's already like known that you don't have a lot of respect for him, and it just was a bad look. It's a bad feeling to be like, dang, I gotta go in, and I'm trying to also not even put the blame on him or be like, Kevin, he just sucks. I'm coming out like, it happens, being cool about it, and then this is the result. It's just like, dang. So I feel for Steve. But I also feel like just the Nets leadership is just
it's terrible,
confused. So,
and what about did you see Kevin Durant's press conference after the fact about the firing?
I didn't see the press conference, but I read a quote.
So you know what I'm about to, so you know the quote then. So that whole non-answer he gave, a player of your stature. This is what Porter asked. A player of your stature. Were you involved in the discussions about the Nash firing? And he just gave a very non-answer. Talking about like, this is the league, this is what happens. I'm like, of course. This man called for this man's job weeks ago. And you know what? Yeah. Before he came back, he did have a discussion with Joe Tsai and Sean Marks. Mm-hmm. Maybe this was on the table all along.
It's unclear, honestly.
And if it was, that's bad. And going to the season like that,
it's messed up. To be, and this is all assuming, right? That we don't know for sure. But if we know that he did call for them to be fired,
yep.
But if you went into the meeting and was like, all right, y'all having discussions behind the backs of these other people, that's kind of snakish behavior to me. And I as a player, if I'm talking to them about this and they're bringing up, all right, we're gonna keep it on the table for you. I'm like, dang, like, all right, well, what do y'all say about me when I'm not around? That just makes my brain turn into a lot of like loops in here, and it's like I don't know. It makes me wonder. I don't know if that's actual talks that happen, but it just is a bad look. And then his answer was, partially true, but
he did not answer the question. Yes or no?
I honestly, he was like, he did. He gave a very vague answer. Like it happens.
He was shocked. The man took a nap and woke up to ESPN.
I don't know, but
that's what he says.
I personally hope that they didn't have him involved in these talks about firing, but before they actually fire Stephen. I hope he wasn't in that, because that's just kind of a bad look to me. And I feel like they need a backbone either you're gonna go with what you say, or it's gonna be you might as well make Kevin Durant the owner at this point, or whatever, because it just looks bad. Like, be the owner, be the leadership, be the management. Let the players be the players, and make decisions and stand on them. Don't come to KD about, all right, should I hire popcorn vendor A or popcorn vendor B? Like, be the ownership group, be the managers and leaders, and certain things like this, I don't need you to. If you especially you talk about somebody else's livelihood, somebody else's job, I don't want them involved in it. They need to cut that kind of communication out. Like, there are certain things, yeah, of course. All right, Kevin Durant should be involved in the hiring process because you're going forward with Kevin Durant, obviously. So you need to go forward and have some sort of like synchronization to be able to figure out what are you doing. But in this case, this already was a bad look because of everything prior to that. If he was involved in any type of decision where he was actually going to get fired, this is just a class D-F like organization, because that is,
it's bad.
and that we're speculating, right? But that would just be terrible for me. This will make them just bottom of the league as far as an organization, and right now they're trending in that direction. So that's they just,
yeah. And they're like,
this team just is so
and we're not even done yet, man. They're
polarizing,
like
kind of infuriating, honestly.
Yo, they are like, and we're not even done yet. Like, they made a bad situation worse because the Nets plan to hire Ime Udoka, man. So this is what Woj put out. And Shams, suspended Celtics coach Ime Udoka has emerged as a likely Brooklyn Nets head coach, and his hiring could be finalized as soon as the next 24 to 48 hours, sources tell ESPN. The Celtics will let him leave for another job. This was put out yesterday, so we got about 24 more hours left to hear the news. Sean Marks was approached with this report. He replied no. But all the sources keep saying, expect Ime Udoka to be hired in the next 24 hours. To make a bad situation worse, man. One, my reaction to this, he was suspended. We kind of touched this a little bit in our season preview. If y'all ain't see that video, go check it out. That was an HR issue. They decided to suspend him. That's in their team policy. That's their right to suspend him. However, to announce this the same day. I mean, one, how did they get out? How did they get out? I mean, we fired Steve Nash. Literally an hour later, Ime Udoka going to be a coach.
What the disrespect!
This
God!
What is this? Wait, what is this, man? And Jock
Vaughn,
maybe he thinks I have an actual chance to coach. Nah.
Dog,
this organization is so dysfunctional. It's so dysfunctional.
That's the killer part of it. Steve Nash, you text me with the news, and I opened Twitter 5 minutes. I saw the tweet after 5 minutes of after Woj posted it. Steve Nash been fired. Within the same hour, we were talking about Udoka. Within the same hour, like literally, I can go to the text thread right now and look, and
yeah,
it was within an hour or two.
Yeah,
like,
I text you when this first dropped, and then, oh man,
Terrible. This is terrible. This is just. I don't. Shout out to Woj and Shams for great reporting. They always are on top. They're the NBA insiders. They do a great job.
exactly.
And
What has Woj ever been wrong?
everyone watches Woj's page when there's a trade in the looms. Everyone's waiting for Shams to report it first. Like it's real. So for Rashawn Marks to come out and be like, no, we're not. I think specifically he was like, no, we're not hiring right now, or something. I don't know the exact terms that he used, but it's being reported already. And even if you weren't hiring Udoka or anybody yet, you just fired one coach. And within the same hour, we're hearing reports about, oh, the Nets are looking to hire this coach or Udoka, whoever. If it wasn't Udoka, on top of it being Ime Udoka, with his specific situation in Boston,
Yep.
it's very bad. But it's even just at the basis of it, you fire one coach and now you're talking about, oh, we got this coach lined up. So this just makes me think y'all been in talks about all of this. Y'all have been planning this for a minute and just decided, all right, we're gonna drop the news today. Like, dang, bro, this man just got fired, and y'all talk about, all right, you already got your person. Not, oh, we're interviewing this person, interviewing that person. Oh, we're looking to hire. What? Like, I would have felt some. I would feel some type of way if I'm Steve Nash. I would just be kind of like, as a player, like, what? Like, dang, okay. Yeah, the league is a business and it moves and it's crazy, but this is much more crazy than I expected. This is just. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like against the hiring of Ime Udoka. I'm not supporting his actions, his misconduct, but as a coach, he's good. And what happened was like a part of his personal thing in Boston, of course, but there's a lot of heat still going on with him.
Exactly.
And on top of, it's like, all right, you throwing gasoline into the burning Brooklyn fire. You're throwing literal gasoline and you're just gonna explode and it's just gonna combust and then be ashes.
And dude, shouldn't there be like a hiring process? Like, shouldn't you supposed to interview a couple people
courtesy.
first? You know, like give people a chance first.
Common courtesy, just grace. I don't understand how. All right, that's. I feel offended. I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm not a player. I'm not a coach. I don't have anything to do with the Nets. But I feel offended. Like, dang, y'all fired this man, and now y'all already talking about, oh, not all right. The Brooklyn Nets are considering A, B, and C. The Brooklyn Nets plan to hire Ime Udoka. Those were the words. I've seen the words multiple times when he's been on Twitter. Everything. Like, what? Like I'm up to here with you. I'm up to here with these dudes, man. Like, all right.
They're just trying to patch up the season that's already terrible. I mean, the news isn't official yet, but once it is, I'm sure we can go into more details about how Udoka can impact the Nets and if he can. But just the fact that he still has this situation going on that's very publicized, it's still very controversial, and to go ahead and make the hire. You think they would seek what exactly happened and investigate before announce to the world that you're going to hire, and maybe come up with some clauses, you know? Because either way, there were people impacted in that Celtics organization by Udoka's actions at the end of the day. So, I personally do believe in second chances, and I think he's a good coach. I think he's a great coach. He's proven that. He may have done some more things, but forgive, and if he's remorseful, you go on, you move on. But can you let the news breathe for at least 24 hours? Like, for real. This was announced within like an hour or so, and that's just so mind-boggling. The Nets have whoever's leaking y'all stuff. Y'all need to find a leak. My thing is this though: most of the time when it's Shams or when it's Shams or Woj, it's a validated source.
Yeah.
This is not just anybody talking. This is an executive, someone on that level, talking.
Yeah. This is
The Nets are just
reliable.
dysfunctional. They're just a dysfunctional franchise. But all those lists of things going on. Let's go ahead and talk about what can be done to fix the Nets, man. All right. First of all, we had a lot of conversations here. We talked about blame, whose fault it is, and all that. Just moving forward, what should the Nets do? One, I need the players to step up. I need them to step up, man. Kevin Durant, you got to step up. I know you just want to hoop, but your team needs a voice. They need a leader. Kyrie has been more outspoken, and he's been more so portrayed as a franchise player just by his actions and his speaking off the court. So I need KD to be a strong presence and voice in the locker room. I mean, maybe he does have a strong presence in the locker room already, maybe. But you need to have a strong voice outside as well. Because the lack of leadership is glaring here. Glaring.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The players need to step up. Two, the Nets organization. Whenever I don't want to hear any excuses with this next hire. Like, if this doesn't work, you messed it up. You ruined the franchise. This is Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, all over again, but worse. Way worse. With just all the off-the-court drama. Not only you lose all your young assets and your draft picks, your franchise is stained with negativity. When we think the Brooklyn Nets, I should be thinking positive things. They got KD and Kyrie. Let's go, championship. Instead, when I hear Brooklyn Nets, first thing that comes to my mind is dysfunction, disorganization, controversy, drama. Those are the words that are associated with the Nets for me now. And it shouldn't be that way. Ben Simmons, he has to try to find a way to get back to that all-star Ben Simmons. If he does not, y'all don't really have a chance with the roster. So they need to get healthier, get a strong presence in the locker room with leadership from the players, and very, very, very strong leadership from their next head coach. They need to anoint the locker room. The presence of Jesus needs to be throughout that whole locker room. But peace, love, and positivity. Anoint every locker. I'm serious, man. We casting out all this controversy, man. Leave it. That's what y'all gotta do, man. Pray for the Nets. they gotta pray, bro. This organization is trash, man. It's trash. It's trash. That's me.
There's only one correct answer, Q. Scrap the Brooklyn Nets.
Really?
Let's just think outside the box. Scientifically, let's just think. Let's get every technological innovation. We need to build a time machine. Let's just rewind the clock. Let's just go back to 2000 to the New Jersey Nets with Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, the finals team. Because that's the last they're ever going to see of finals and Nets. That's the only association we're ever going to see if they don't ever fix anything. Just get a time machine. Let's just go back to New Jersey. Go back to Newark. There you go. Because this is not going to work.
So you're saying that no matter who they put in as coach, nothing's going to work?
Do they get better potentially? Yes. Do they win a championship? No. Do they get their act together? Probably not. That's just I'm not putting any type of expectation on this team anymore. And I think and that's just me.
Yeah.
I want them to prove me wrong, like shock the world. But for me, I don't expect the Nets to be, if they make the playoffs, first round exit. Like that's I'm keeping my bar low in Brooklyn. As far as what like could fix them, Jesus, like you said. I mean, if you can't call Jesus, please don't try me. Shout out to Toby and Wigway. But maybe you get Doctor Strange. Maybe he can get the right multiverse spell right this time and bring in some alternate versions of these guys to like make it work. But for real, they have to all players, coaching, ownership, leadership, whatever, need to get on the same page. That's number one. Mm-hmm. And number two, get healthy. Ben Simmons, I want to see you play greatly because I think he's a great player. Obviously, we know what Kevin Durant can do. Kyrie, just play basketball. Don't really talk. Just play and stay out of. Keep your mind, your mental thoughts here in the mind. Don't.
I would rephrase
no need to
that,
voice them right.
I would phrase that a little bit. Just like don't say anything that could bring even more negativity to your team. Because we don't want to just say, like players should just play because they have more impact. But at the same time, all his actions and words, for the most part, have brought a lot of negativity to your organization. So just refrain from that.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. That was a improper response on my part.
Oh, no,
but
we good.
Just take some time to think before you speak is all I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying. For real. I got you.
I'm not saying, I'm not trying to say you shouldn't speak out on things. That's not the case. But
right.
In his case, it's just been a lot of issues with things he said or hasn't said. And for him, I just want him to be able to focus and just speak and elaborate properly when you do choose to speak out on things. And, from there, win games. If they can win games, winning helps everything. So,
sure.
That's it. I hope they can do well, not having a lot of expectations, and we'll see where they go from here.
Yep. We'll see. Well, as the news unfolds, we'll react to it and, give y'all our thoughts and reactions. But now let's move on to some other news around the NBA. The Warriors have picked up the options on 3 of their young players. They picked up the option on James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, and Moses Moody. The deadline was Monday. They did it ahead of the deadline. A Wiseman option is $12.1 million. Kuminga's and Moody's options are $6 million and $3.9 million, respectively. So now they're a part of Warriors team until 2023-2024. Wiseman could be eligible for an extension this summer, though. So that's cool. So the Warriors have not been performing as we all thought they would be. They're at the bottom half of the standings in the West, which is surprising to a lot of people. It's still early in the season. We'll see how things go. But what was your reaction to the Warriors picking up these options?
I think the Warriors are just mapping out their conquest. These are their young talents. This is a good young core with Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, Jordan Poole, obviously, Wiggins. It's a good sign for them that they're already investing in their future, and it's a kind of like a sign of respect to these young guys, that showing that this organization believes in you. So, go out there and get it. And I think they will. It just shows the Warriors' commitment to keeping their sense of I'm trying to think of the word I want to use, but building from within and keeping that team camaraderie, chemistry tight, keeping these guys in the long run type thing, even if it is just for another year. We haven't seen a lot of Wiseman. Kuminga, we've seen him, and he's got a good motor, athletic player. He can be pretty versatile. Moses Moody, I've seen flashes of him, and I think he can get better too. And it just goes to show that the Warriors think that too. So I think it's a smart thing to do, and hopefully they can build on and continue to be a great franchise.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I agree with everything you're saying. It's a part of them building that nucleus for the next. As Steph Curry eventually ages and Klay Thompson and they transition to maybe eventually moving on from Draymond Green. But that's to be seen. That's all to be seen. Warriors-related news. Dwight Howard actually was on a podcast with Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay. He talked about his role and what he wants to do in the future. And in that interview, he mentioned that he would like to join the Warriors. He made his case very clear. He said they need a big. I know they have Looney, and I know they have the young boy Wiseman, but I'm Dwight Howard. So he says Wiseman can learn so much from me because he's heading in that direction of being a great big man. I feel like in that situation, playing with all those shooters like that, Steph, the way he gets open, with me setting screens, he's going to get more open. Klay, the same way. Draymond in the pick and roll, me and him. So he's really so Dwight is really making his case to be a Golden State Warrior and try to get another run at the championship. So he also says that he will be able to teach Wiseman how to play defense, how to block shots. I see him as a person that's similar to David Robinson in his size and athleticism. There are a lot of things that I could teach him. So those are all his arguments. What do you think? Should the Warriors go out and get Dwight Howard? Do you think it will be a good fit?
I honestly am not mad at that. I think that Dwight Howard is making a pretty valid case. He's honestly one of the greatest bigs, one of the greatest players we've ever seen. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. So he definitely can help Wiseman, Kuminga to understand how to read offense and get into position for defense, for blocks and rebounds and stuff like that. And I feel like, yeah, he's making the case. He's not expecting to be having a centric role where he's the guy or even be a starter. I think that he understands that he's kind of in his twilight phase. This would be going into his 19th season. So he's very much on the tail end. And his experience is more so valuable than what he could do on the court. I think I think he's a very much valuable player to have on a team right now, because he's not going to be starting probably, but that's another big man in this type of modern era where he understands, like, all right, I'm not a shooter, but someone has to hold down the middle. Someone has to get rebounds. And the Warriors offense can be a lob threat. We obviously see Draymond being in that pick and roll and making, the pick and pop plays, or, lobbing up to the big man in the middle. That's something that they do. And Dwight will be a great, like, plug and play type option. I think he has a solid case. And to his point about not Kuminga, about Wiseman, I do think that he can kind of enlighten him, show him the path to being a great two-way big man, because right now I think that Wiseman obviously hasn't played a lot, missing a lot of his first season, but getting that type of experience from one of the best defensive players that we've gotten to witness at that position, because I feel like he's kind of raw as a player. He's kind of like he's got a lot of potential. We can see that he can shoot, pick and roll, but he's young, he's wiry, he's kind of thin to me as a big man. I think Dwight Howard could really show him a lot and kind of like mold him into a great, like a David Robinson, like the Admiral type player, for real, because he has all that potential. He's also left-handed, which is funny. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. Warriors, sign Dwight. I'm with that. Dwight, get you one more chip.
Yeah, he has championship pedigree. He can definitely bring a lot to the organization with a veteran presence like that. Me and you both agree he should have been a top 75 player. I mean, I say they can go ahead and get him. Why not? Especially if you can get him for like a minimum.
Right.
So go ahead. If he's not asking for a huge payday, or a huge asking price, go ahead and get him. Why not? Go ahead. You got shooters galore already. You need to do something to get some more wins, show up your defense some more, at least in the interior. Why not get Dwight Howard? At the same time, he can mentor a young James Wiseman to be the next great NBA center. So, yeah, go ahead and get it.
I support this message.
Yeah. So, we've been wanting to hit on the Southwest. Maybe we can knock this out real quick. So, let's go ahead and get into the season preview. Let's go ahead and start with the Spurs, who have been very, very impressive. No one thought that they would be where they are right now. The Spurs are currently 5th in the West at 5-3. A lot of people thought, including myself, that they will be in the running to try to get Victor Wembanyama. But based on how they're playing, apparently not. They don't care. So they got Trey Jones. Devin has been very impressive in his second season. Very good shooter. They got Doug McDermott. Keldon Johnson is another underrated young player. He's a very good offensive threat at the power forward position. Yeah, still got Jakob Poeltl. Now we understand. We talked about the news about Joshua Primo. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. It's on YouTube. Listen to our podcast. They do need to figure out how to replace that type of player because he does bring a lot off the bench. You know, he brings valuable shooting. So I wonder how they plan to fill that gap. You know, I wonder if they can look at some free agents out there or maybe in a possible trade to see how to fill that gap. But other than that, this team, I projected them at first, before the season started, to be in the bottom tier. And I'm going to go ahead and stick with that same prediction. They're going to eventually fall out. They're not going to stay where they're at. If you're a Spurs fan, it's got to be exciting to see your team have this much success. But do we really think this team has a shot in like the playoffs? I'm not there yet. Maybe they'll show me something different. But right now, I say they're going to be in the running for the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. That's where I'm at. Where do you think the Spurs are going to be?
I guess I agree with the first part that going into the season, I didn't expect much out of the Spurs. And it's funny because Greg Popovich himself, I saw a couple videos of him talking about the team. Don't expect us to win the championship this year. Like, you know how Pop is. He's hilarious. But I think that it's also very strategic with what he does. I'm sure he's coaching the heck out of his players, pushing them and helping them to be great and better players. So I think he's trying to motivate them with his words there a little bit. And I feel like they probably know that they aren't expected to be good or they're expected to be at the bottom. So I think they may be using that as fuel and kind of running with it, trying to be like, all right, let's get out on this. Let's show them that we are a great team. And the Spurs organization, they are a proven organization. They're good right now. Spurs are leading the league in assists per game.
Wow.
They share the ball well. They're fourth in points per game. So even with not a lot of big names, you mentioned Keldon Johnson. They have Josh Richardson. They have Doug McDermott. So they have some shooters, some guys that can score the ball. And I think that you're right that they probably won't be top in the West or anything like that. But I'm not gonna say they're gonna go lottery, bottom of the league, or anything. I'm gonna say that they have a chance to be like somewhere between 8th and 10th, maybe competing for the play-in.
Okay.
As of right now. And I think they may be in the market to make some moves.
Hey, that's fine with me. Go ahead. That helps my team out. Go ahead.
Of course, your team has to lose 5 games for every game they win.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead, because that I ain't gonna lie. I thought the Spurs would be like competition for Wembanyama. Keep on. Go ahead. I have no problem with it. Another
You
question.
think you got to get Wembanyama?
I hope so. Yeah. But another question on the Spurs though, before we move on. How much longer do you think Coach Pop would be in the league? He's turning 74 in January. Like, how much patience do you think he has? Because he's finished below 500 the last 3 seasons. Although this season looks pretty good so far.
Yeah.
But how much longer do you think he's going to be coaching?
Dang, that's one. We always talk about LeBron getting ready to retire at some point.
Right.
I see him Pop in the Spurs is like gonna be weird. I don't think he's gonna retire after this season, but I'm not gonna say he's gonna coach more than 2 more seasons. If he doesn't like retire within this year or next year, I would be surprised.
2 more seasons. Okay.
2 more seasons at the max. But hey,
all right,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's gonna be weird.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's move on to another team that's been very impressive early on. That's the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans are currently 4th in the West at 4-2. They had some very impressive early wins against some stiff competition.
Yeah.
One of the biggest questions going into the season is the health of Zion Williamson. I gotta admit, Zion has looked good. He's been looking really, really good. So if Zion can stay healthy and the whole team can stay healthy as a whole, McCollum, if he stays healthy as well, this team can really go places. They really can. They really can. So you got CJ, you got B.I., Herbert Jones. Unfortunately, I don't think he's playing tonight against the Lakers, though. I think I saw he's out. But you got Zion, you got Valanciunas, you got Jose Alvarado, who has been a very, very strong player, especially with hustle and his energy. I really like his energy, man. I really like his energy.
Definitely.
They got Trey Murphy the third and Devontae Graham. So, where do you project the Pelicans right now? For me, I definitely see them in the playoffs. I can definitely see them maybe. They look really good. Maybe second round for sure. Second round. That's where I'm gonna predict them to go.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction, Q.
Okay.
The Pelicans are winning right now, right?
They are.
What are they, 4-2?
Yeah.
Or
they're 4-2. They're playing against the Lakers.
They're not even. The Pelicans aren't even at their best yet. The Pelicans are not even at their best yet, and they're looking really, really good. They're not at their best yet. I think that they're gonna only get better from this point. And I'm not saying that the Pelicans are gonna win the NBA championship or anything, but I think the Pelicans have a chance, if healthy, to go on a deep playoff run. I could see them at this point in the game. They can make a run for the conference finals. This is a great young team.
Okay.
Superstar potential, and Zion Williamson being back. They have Brandon Ingram, who I think is got a great all-around game. CJ McCollum, one of the smoothest players in the league, smooth scorer, easy 20, 21 points per game. And then their role players, Herb Jones, great 3D guys, great shooters. Let me see, Jackson Hayes, who's another raw big man.
That's another player.
They have a lot. Larry Nance Jr., another athletic big. They have a good bit of depth to be able to throw at teams, even if they aren't just going to be lavish scorers. I think they can be pretty dangerous. So I'm going to say they're going to be. I can honestly see them being like a top. They could be in that 4 to 6 range, as far as like playoff teams, and could be potentially in deeper running if they stay healthy. Because honestly, they gave the Suns a heck of a playoff run this past season without Zion.
Yep.
And Zion himself, as we talked about, came back, is looking like he's in great condition. If he can stay healthy, if Brandon can stay healthy, CJ stays healthy, and they keep this core together, Willie Green's doing a great job. So
yeah, shout out to Willie Green too. Yeah, good point.
I like the Pelicans this year. They look really good. So
they do. They really do.
It's all coming together.
And this makes you think again. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Going back to that AD trade, man. The Lakers would have had a Brandon Ingram right now. Alonzo Ball. Josh Hart. Like, come on. Right now. Well, this is a good question one day to say, like, who won the AD trade? Who won the trade between the Pelicans and Lakers? This is gonna be. You may have answered that question after this season. For real.
We're gonna have to digest that in a little while.
Seriously. Let's go. Let's go ahead and look at the Houston Rockets. Right now, the Rockets are doing what they're supposed to be doing, what we all expected. They're currently 1-8, the very bottom of the bottom in all conferences, in all standings. I like Steven Silas, man. I really do. I think he got dealt a bad hand dealing with James Harden and Russell Westbrook. You know, I feel like they probably could have succeeded within his offense because he has good experience with the offenses with Luka.
He helped
and the Mavs.
Helped develop
Yeah, like he knows offense, and now he's starting over with this young squad. Got Kevin Porter, good young player. Jalen Green as well. Eric Gordon, Jabari Smith, who early on looking solid. Very solid. Rookie of the Year candidate. Some reserves that they have. Ty Washington. This is an underrated pickup again for me. I was surprised that they got him. They also got Jason Tate. They still got Josh Christopher as well. So we'll see how he progresses this year. This is obviously a team with a lot of young talent. They traded Christian Wood. Well, not traded, but did they trade him? Or did Christian Wood? Yeah, they did. They traded him for picks. So they traded for 25 and 27 picks. Yep. So Christian Wood, man, I wish there was some way they could have kept him. But they didn't. Clearly, they're trying to rebuild for the future. So, obviously, this team's going to be in the draft lottery. I do not expect them to go far. I expect them to compete with the Oklahoma City Thunder for Victor Wembanyama. That's it. If you're a fan of the Rockets, just be a fan of watching how these young players play and develop. That's all you're gonna do. That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's true. For the most part, I agree with you. I just feel bad for Jabari Smith Jr. because I feel like he's playing hard. He's trying to prove himself. He wants to win. It sucks because they're just not in a position to be winning NBA games against these teams. They have a great, honestly, this is the thing about the Rockets.
It's a good roster. This is a good young. It's just young.
They're gonna be
inexperienced.
Exactly. If they stick together, they grow and develop a little bit. A couple years from now, they'll be an interesting team. I feel like they'll get better. Obviously, Jalen Green, phenomenal season last year. Another guy you didn't mention, Kenyon Martin Jr., who I think might be just as ferocious as his dad was, which is monstrous. They're a fun team to watch. I feel like they're young. They're gonna shoot a lot of bad shots. They're gonna turn the ball over, but they're young. They're athletic. Kevin Porter Jr. can do it all. I feel like he can be that centric guy, or him and Jalen Green being just a great dynamic duo. They will be okay in a few years. This is not their year. I expect them. I expect them to be in the sweepstakes for Mr. Wembanyama.
Yep.
But I would go to a Rockets game and watch some just great athletic dunks. But if I'm the Rockets, I'm not expecting. If I'm a Rockets fan, I'm not expecting 30 wins.
No, not at all.
But keep playing hard, young guys, and it'll be your time in a couple of years.
Yeah, I just would not expect much. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
They're kind of where we expected them to be. They're they're playing well. Standings wise, no. Like currently, they're 8th in the standings. They're 4-3. They're tied with some other teams in the West. The main thing right here early on is health. Honestly, Ja got to stay healthy. He had a little stint last year where he was out for those couple games. You remember, late in the season last year. And Jaren Jackson Jr. and everybody else had to fill in the void. The one vet that I hate that let go was Kyle Anderson. I wish they kind of kept him, man. That's a valuable vet who plays good defense. He's like one of those 3-and-D guys, 3-and-D wings. However, the roster is still really good. You got Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Steven Adams. You got Brandon Clark coming out the bench, Tyus Jones, Xavier Tillman. And they also had that big acquisition in the offseason, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this team should be in the top 4 of the conference. That's my opinion. That's where I see them at. And of course, being top 4 in the conference, they should also be in the playoffs. They should. I'm going to go ahead and say it, man. I feel like this team right here be in the rest of the conference finals. Like, compete. They should be competitive to make the Western Conference Finals. They should be competitive not to make it there. That's my bold prediction. You go ahead. And Ja should be contender for MVP this year.
I think he will be. I think, like you said, the biggest thing for them is staying healthy, particularly Ja Morant, because he's a player that.
Like already early on, we are seeing issues. So.
But they did well without him for. I think he missed like 5 or 6 games in a row. They went 5-0.
Oh yeah, there was an argument. It's a stupid argument. It was an argument talking about like this team seems to play better without Ja Morant. Remember that stupid argument last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they play differently.
They do because you have to play differently.
Right. But no, I don't think they're better without Ja. And
they're not better without Ja.
I think that they will be good. They'll be in the playoffs, obviously. But I don't see them going to the conference finals, and it's because of a reason that you all actually mentioned. They lost Slow-Mo, Kyle Anderson, who I think is one of those veteran guys who, this is a young team. They're young, they're talented, they're fired up. They run up the chimney, as Josh said. And that's great. But I think what you lose in a veteran, not so much his like scoring output or anything like that, statistics, but a guy that carries his like himself NBA career. He's calm. He's at his own pace.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're just gonna run and run their heads into whatever. And it's like that's good, but also you need to be able to slow things down and understand situations and mentally figure out the game. That's where the difference between them and Golden State was. They were very close to actually almost, upsetting the Warriors this past season in the playoffs. But the Warriors had the mental edge at the end of the day. And I feel like they're going to be smarter, but you still need a vet like that. They have Steven Adams, who's going to be holding it down in the middle, obviously. But I don't know if they get as of right now. They could change that. I'm not saying Western Conference Finals, but somewhere making a decent playoff run for sure.
Yeah, how far do you think they'll go? I know you said not the Western Conference Finals, but like, what's the at least round they should make it to? Like they should at least make it to what round?
Second round.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They should at least make it to the second round.
Yeah, second round for sure.
But I feel like they can be in the conference finals.
They can be. I mean, as of right now, I just need to see.
Right, I understand that. Like for sure. Like I get
Because
that.
right now I'm just like, all right, Jaws already got injury issues.
He does.
I need to see how the other guys outside of him and Jaron are gonna react. Is
Right.
Dylan Brooks gonna have his head clear and be able to focus and not get, bad fouls, technicals, stay healthy? So that's my whole thing. But I think they have a great young group. They're gonna be fun to watch as well.
Yeah, they will. This other team is another fun team to watch. Dallas Mavericks is our final team we'll cover for the night. They're currently 3-3. They're not where we kind of expected them to be. They had some really bad losses to some teams they really shouldn't lose to early on, honestly. But of course, the star of the franchise, Luka Doncic, he's doing this thing. He's continuing this pace for MVP candidacy as well, in my opinion. You got Spencer Dinwiddie, Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, and JaVale McGee. You got Tim Hardaway. And again, a big acquisition from the offseason, Christian Wood. This roster is a very good roster. Now, to explain the early struggles, I feel they just need more time to gel as a team, because they did lose a big part of their offense in Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
that's a big part of your offense, man. Big part of your rotation. Big part where you get scoring from. So you got to figure out how to essentially fill that void. I still like Jason Kidd as a head coach. I feel like they'll pick it up. They're still early in the season. Can't really overreact. I think the Mavericks will be right there. They should be in line to compete in the Western Conference Finals again. Because they upset the Phoenix Suns last year in the semifinals. They should compete and make it back, but I don't think they will. It's just me. I don't think they will, man. I feel like they should at least get to the second round. I don't think they'll make it past the semis though. In the West, that's me. Luka is definitely gonna be an MVP candidate though.
That's fair. I think that their start has not been.
I need to see more defensively, man. That's my main thing.
Yeah, definitely gotta improve on the defensive end. But they're starting off. To me, they're starting off similar to how they did last season. Didn't get the greatest start, but over time they progressed. They got better. And another team that's a key thing for them is health. Luka has to stay healthy. Tim Hardaway Jr. missed games. I think he had a leg injury. I don't know if it was a broken leg, but he had a leg injury. He was out for. I don't even think he played in the playoffs. Yeah, he didn't. They're gelling. They have Christian Wood, as you mentioned. They got JaVale McGee. They have good pieces. And right now, I think they're just kind of figuring out, all right, how we're going to balance. Because Luka obviously is going to have a lot of possessions. But you also have to put other teams or other guys in position around him, around Wood, and make it work. And I think they will. I see them. I think that they should be back in the conference finals, in the Western Conference Finals. With the way their team is, and the acquisition of Christian Wood, who I thought even his Detroit days was gonna be a big time, big in the league. I think he has a lot of potential to be a great second option, and Hardaway Jr. should be back to fill in some scoring void. So that's going to elevate them. I think that they should be getting back to the conference finals.
Yeah. Good point, but we'll see where they go. We'll definitely see. I mean, they got it. I feel like they'll pick it up offensively. I just got to see the defense.
I think Jason Kidd will rally them. Dorian Finney-Smith also improved a lot, so I think
that's true.
They're going to be good. They'll be fine. They're one of those. To me, they're one of those teams that they're going to start out pretty slow, but by like January they'll be top 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah, I think they'll be a top. They should be in the top 4. They should be.
Yeah.
Because some of the teams there now, we know we did our power rankings, but I do not expect a lot of those teams to stay where they are.
It's gonna.
I don't. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and transition to the final swish, man. I really like these segments. We're talking about whatever. So,
well,
let's I'm gonna let you go first for sure.
I got you. Well,
yeah.
This final swish is a bit sadder today, but and it's not even so much basketball wise, but I have to, I don't know, have to take the moment. It's something that like bothers me. Rest in peace to Takeoff. If you don't know already, Takeoff, one of the members of the rap trio the Migos, was fatally shot in Houston, and it is just shocking to say the least. Another act of just senseless violence that has plagued the culture, that is hip hop, that is, the Migos have always been around the NBA with the Hawks or just All-Star Weekend. They've always been very much associated with that, and this culture, black culture, it just is it's a tragic loss, man. I feel like I've been talking to a lot of people about it, but he was just a couple of years older than us, and it's like,
no, man, it's crazy.
That he's not, with us in flesh here on the planet is like over just foolishness is baffling to me, and I hope that we as a people cherish this life that we do have, and that we don't waste it or find ourselves in situations that call for like uncalled and unnecessary, just senseless acts of violence. Just be safe, and man, I just feel bad for Quavo, for Offset, for anyone who's close to them, their families, everybody. It's hard, man, seeing people like that, like someone like one of our own superstars, being lost, especially when I feel like he was just stepping into his own craft. But rest in peace, Takeoff, and y'all just be safe out here, man. It's life is crazy, and I'm reminded every day that nothing is promised. This life can be short, so just be safe, man. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, rest in peace, Takeoff, and there are a lot of people impacted by the loss, and prayers to all those that are impacted by this sudden loss. My final swish is it's gonna be on like some news that we heard recently, honestly, and it's gonna be pretty updated. So this is updated. This just came out like a couple hours ago. Kyrie Irving, along with the Brooklyn Nets and the Anti-Defamation League, released a joint statement announcing several donations, and this is a joint statement. So this is Kyrie's portion of it. He says, "I oppose all forms of hatred and oppression and stand strong with communities that are marginalized and impacted every day. I am aware of the negative impact of my posts towards the Jewish community, and I take responsibility. I do not believe everything said in the documentary was true or reflects my morals and principles. I am a human being, learning from all walks of life, and I intend to do so with an open mind and a willingness to listen. So from my family and I, we meant no harm to any one group, race, or religion of people, and wish only to be a beacon of truth and light." Of course, Kyrie initially posted about a movie called Hebrews and Negroes, Wake Up Black America, and he had a back and forth with Nick Friedel, who is an ESPN writer. He's very experienced. Kyrie did not speak publicly with the media yesterday after the Nets loss. However, this statement is a positive step forward. Along with this statement, they're going to donate. I believe it's a couple of million. They're going to donate $500,000 to a lot of different places. Honestly, I want to get the exact number for sure. But the fact that they're trying to donate to these different organizations that speak out against this hate and violence. So, I mean, all these are positive actions, but with this being said, I hope we can just like close the door on like some of these things that Kyrie like kind of calls for himself. Kyrie has definitely been a distraction, and he has caused the league to come out with a statement. He's caused his own franchise to come out with a statement. He having teammates having to speak about this. I just wonder when is enough going to be enough, honestly. I'm looking forward to hear him speak publicly about this, because one, this was done in a public fashion, and all of this is a statement that's public. You also have to write it. You also have to right the wrong with another public statement with you saying things publicly so we can all see it, because this went very viral. The statement will not really go viral. I need to see actions and words. I want to see you and see him say these things. You know, I think that'll go a long way as well, and we can see how genuine you are about it and things of that nature. Kyrie has had a lot of controversies, you know, since in his short time in the league, honestly. Just when will enough be enough? I hope this is a sign that, like, hey, we're going to move on, we're going to work together to focus on basketball and just let the main thing be the main thing. I do believe that everyone has the right to whatever they want to believe, but at the same time, Kyrie does have to recognize that he has certain power that other people don't have. And with great power comes great responsibility. I learned that as a kid from Spider-Man. So this still applies here too. So I hope that he takes this lesson to heart, man. This was a lot. This goes for all these celebrities out here going through something similar to this. Kanye, all that stuff, man. Your actions are very powerful. Your words are very powerful, man. You just gotta be responsible with that stuff. So that's my final switch, man. But yeah. But I think overall, I think it was good they came out with a statement, and it was a joint statement with the league, with Kyrie, the Nets, and the Anti-Defamation League. So, yeah, we just see in the future, man. It's like, you know, Kyrie is on this on his own path right now. It's taking him where it's going to take him to. I hope this is it, but I hope in the next week or two we don't hear something else. I hope we don't. I really hope we don't, man. But we'll see. We'll see. I went to this season thinking there won't be anything, because I'm like, he's playing for his money, for his contract. I was wrong about that, clearly. So,
man, it's unpredictable, man. It's a crazy.
Yeah, man. If I learn I hurt somebody by my words and actions, I'm going to automatically be apologetic and learn about it, not just fight against it. I mean, like,
yeah, it's just
anyway,
about
he did it.
Platform.
Yeah.
And if you don't see it as a platform, it's you have influence in the world. So, like you said, have to be responsible with your actions, because you are a person of power in comparison to a lot of people.
Yo, in that same statement, he says he wishes to be a beacon of truth and light. Like, how you plan to do that? Through your his initial post, that was supposedly to be like a truth statement of life from him. So you gotta be very responsible for what you do, man. Like, you just gotta be responsible. If you learn you hurt someone, just try to correct it.
Yeah, he'll learn.
I don't know, man. He still think the earth is flat, man.
Well,
I don't know. Hopefully he'll learn.
I ain't gonna speak up now. But yeah,
I don't know. Hopefully he'll learn. But thank y'all for tuning in to the Swish Masters Podcast. It's been a lot of fun. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and all those things. Check out our new videos on YouTube. We have a bunch of videos on there. We talked about the Big Three era is over. That was a very fun discussion. We talked about the Lakers should regret trading for AD. You know, that was a very good discussion as well. The LeBron effect, if that's true. You know, is it hard to play with LeBron James? You know, yeah, a lot of good discussions, man. And be sure to check all that stuff out.
oh yeah, for sure. A lot of new content out here. If y'all have anything to say, if y'all agree, disagree, just want to jump into action, feel free to comment. We do read the comments, and we do appreciate you guys, man. So be sure to follow us on YouTube, social media, IG, you know what it is. Shout out to our sponsor, SS96. I thank y'all for rocking with us, man. Till next time, I'm Zay, the executive producer.
All right. Yep, I'm QtheGuru. Peace.
What up? Thank you for tuning in to the Swish Masters Podcast, and thank you to our sponsor, SS96. Visit ss96.net and use the promo code Swish Masters for 15% off. Yeah, that's right. You heard me right. 15% off on all store items. Hats, hoodies, t-shirts, whatever you need, SS96 has it. Also, don't forget to go and check out that music from Straight Stoner, produced by yours truly. You know what it is, Gut Gang, mobbing, sleepwalking. We out here. Thank you. out.